Hey, what's going on? Good evening, everybody. This your girl Tiffany here, live in effect. Today's topic, Black History topic, is going to be about the Golden 14. The Golden 14 was the first black yellow women, right, that was in the Navy from 1918 to 1919. But before I get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share the channel, like the channel, all that great stuff, right? So let's go ahead and get to the bottom line of the information. So I have three sources that I am going to use that's going to be speaking on this subject matter. So let's go to the first source. Hope y'all can see that screen. All right, so this comes from because of them we can.com, which is a black website, okay, that deals with historical information, current events, black businesses, you name it. All right, so these are the yellow women. And then you have what's called the Yeowomen. So what they do, they were like a guard, basically. They were guards posted in areas, making sure they were secure and safe, etc. So, okay. So right here, it says it's time to give them their flower. The United States military has long struggled with racism. It says with a 2018 survey by the Military Times reporting that more than half of their respondents of color identify with experiencing racism from their peers. So Atlas Obscuros reports, despite the moral stain on the armed forces, black people have long served and fought in nearly every American war that extends to black women, whose contribution often went unnoticed and undocumented in the history books. Such is the story of the Golden 14, a group of 14 black women who made history during World War I as the first black women to serve in the U.S. Navy. All right. So it says the women's stories were mostly recent, brought to light by Jerry Bell, a former naval officer and historian with the Veterans Writing Project. While she was working on a book with a former Marine, she began to write about the contribution of black women in the armed forces. While the Golden 14 took up only a sentence in that first writing, Bell says she couldn't seem to get them out of her head. And she put, it makes me kind of mad. Here are these women. They were the first. But I think there was also a general attitude at the time that accomplishments of women were not a big deal. Women were not going to brag, said Bill. Okay. So this is the picture that's posted up. So going down, it says the women included Armelida Hattie Green, officers Richard's sister-in-law and distant cousin, and Ruth Ann Wilburn, whose family was able to confirm her identity. Tracy L. Brown was just 10 years old when she learned of her great-grandmother, who she affectionately called Nan. Wilburn's father was formerly enslaved, escaping to freedom before meeting her mother. uh, Elezine Beckley, who came from an affluent black family. She was afforded the best education growing up, graduating Dunbar High School in 1918 before joining the Naval Reserve. Brown said that she didn't realize her great grandmother's time in the Navy was so historic. All right. And there are a few archival records that speak of the women's time in the Navy at length, but the ones that do tell a story of women who kept their heads down and did the work. The History of the World War for Human Rights, published in 1919, sociologist Kelly Miller writes about the Golden 14. Okay. So it said this is quite a novel experience, as it is the first time in the history of the Navy of the United States that colored women have been employed in any clerical capacity. It was reserved to young colored women to invade successfully the Yeowomen branch, hereby establishing a precedent. Now, there is also a Yeoman Golden 13. So the Golden 13 were all black men. So basically 13 black men who were the first to be in the US Navy. And then later the Golden 14 was 14 black women who was the first to be. Okay. So that is one information. Now let me talk a little bit about it. So the military has a prejudice attitude towards women. Okay. Because the military is more of a male dominated space. And by us living in a patriarchal society, there's gonna always be an attitude towards women. But the military is a male dominated space, all right? And they didn't really allow women to serve in the armed forces at first. Then when women did serve in the armed forces, they could not be on the battlefield. They had to be behind the scene. They were not allowed to be on the battlefield with the men. Okay. So if you guys notice back in high school, because I remember they used to do this, they used to have what was called the it was the selective something, right? So when you filled out for the ACT or you filled out the forms to go to college and things like that, there was a question on there for like the selective service. That's what they call it, selective service. And it was mainly for males. Because women weren't required. It was males. So if you was a male over 18, you had to fill that part out. And the reason why, because in an event where there is a war going on and there are soldiers that's needed, they will reach out to the males first. Okay. And usually the ones that's getting ready to graduate from high school. Then, or if they don't have enough males, then they'll reach out to the females, but they reach out to the males first. Okay. Because again, the military is a more of a male dominated space. So anyway, here's more documents and information. This is from World War One Centennial.org. Okay. And it says the Golden 14 worked as Yeomen and were tasked with handling administrative and clerical work. They had access to official military records, including the work assignments and location of sailors. At the time, black men who enlisted in the Navy could only work as messmen, stewards, or in the engine room, shoveling coal into the furnace. They performed manual labor and weren't given opportunities to rise in rank. Okay. So the Golden 14 women at that time, they were only allowed to work in administration field or do clerical work like paperwork and all of that. All right. So the person that was one of the first to do information on the Golden 14 was Jerry Bell. All right. So let me look up her information. Let's look up the information about Jerry Bell. Oh, hold on. I didn't mean to share that picture. So this lady right here, Jerry Bell, was one of the first to write an article, write what she written a book actually, and she mentioned about the Golden 14. Okay, so she was a Navy veteran, and not only she was a Navy veteran, but she became an author, and so she figured, why not speak on these women because they made such a contribution, right? So that's Jerry Bell. Let's see. It was another information I was about to post up. So this website is called Rediscovering Black History, blogs.archives.gov, etc. So basically, it's giving a list of women that served in the armed forces at a time period. All right. So here's the card. So it says today post was written by Clara Moore Limbonick, reference archives specialist at the National Archives at St. Louis. Disclaimer: some of the partial records feature contain language that does not reflect modern accepted terminology. Please keep this possible sensitive language in mind when reviewing the records. Right? Okay, so these are the records of the women that served in the armed forces at that time period. Right? So here's one record on Marie Mitchell. Okay. And see, here's some more information here. This one deals with Armelia Green. So this is the information regarding to Armelia Green. Okay. There we go. All right. So, anyways, that's all the information that I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if I did I share the screen. I thought I did. Hopefully I did. I don't know if y'all saw the screen, but yeah. Okay. Yep. So Naval Reserve. All right, this is the cards. And basically the archive, the list of names and the rank, etc. Okay. And that's that information. So here it is. Again, these people, they serve today in modern time. When we hear about most people that go into the armed forces, the main purpose is basically money. Okay. It ain't so much about because you love this country so much you're gonna fight for this country. Not too many of us black folks gonna put our life on the line for this country. Main reason why many black folks going to the armed services is because they need the finances. They need the money to pay for college. They need to get that GI Bill so they can be able to purchase a home. Okay. They need to get all the discounts they can get. All right. So it's more so of a survival thing as opposed to fight for this country. It's a survival thing. All right. And for some people, they are true patriots. They love this country. They gonna sacrifice themselves and die for this country, right? But for the rest, it's more so about the hustle. It's about the money. That's what it's about. But the military has a long history of discrimination, especially against people of color, against black people. The military has a long history of that. So it's no surprise that we never see this information. We never heard about it. Or as a matter of fact, they're not going to broadcast it on TV. It's no surprise because look who's dominating. Look who's controlling the history. Look who's writing the books. Of course, you're not going to hear about it. And so don't expect to hear from the mainstream world. Get access while you can, while it's available. And also, if you can, and I'm going to try myself, study your genealogy. Study your genealogy, know about your ancestors, what they have done, what type of field of study they were in, what position they held, all of that. Because you can learn a lot. That's history in itself, starting with your own family, start with your own bloodline. So I'm going to make my business to do that. And hopefully I can be able to gather enough information and share with the listening audience. But I think that's what more of us need to start doing is studying our family history. So that way we can know what our family members have done, what their background was, what position they held, and then tell the story from there. So anyway, that's all I have to say for tonight. I hope you guys have a good one. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. And until next time, peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm out. Thank you.